guys, I'm ChezPride and welcome back to another Sims 4 related video. And today I want to talk about what did and didn't come in the patch as far as bug fixes the other day, talk about some Sims related news, and also go in my game and show off some stuff, including some Sims I made. So there won't be too much in-game time this video, but this video isn't also going to be a full-on news video either. So this patch came out July 29th, 2025, which is technically 2 days ago of as when I'm recording this, but it's also super early in the morning, so it's still technically been less than 48 hours since the patch has come out. And this isn't a huge patch, but it does have some big bug fixes, mainly emergency ones for Enchanted by Nature. So no new content, but I would still totally take out your mods and custom content and back up your save and tray folder before you update your game. Of course, I say that anytime it's not a SDX drop, but it's better safe than sorry to just go ahead and back up those things and remove your mods, even if the mods don't require updating afterwards. Trust me, you'd rather be safe than sorry. But normally I would make a video on this like the same day it came out, but I actually didn't see that my game had a game update until the next morning. I guess because I was running around and doing so many things the day that the patch actually came out, and I didn't actually have time to play my game. I somehow missed the Sims team posting that there was an emergency patch, and I didn't go to play my game till the next morning after the patch came out, because I was actually sitting there waiting on Ozzy's family to come out of the funeral with Ozzy's body, because they were doing that whole live memorial thing in the streets in England. And I wanted to watch that live so much I was actually like 5 minutes late to work. My boss was totally chill about it. But yes, I was actually late to work because I was watching Ozzy's funeral. But I was playing Sims as I was waiting for the family to come out. And I went to go open my game and was like, oh, there's been an update. And then went and checked this website, and there had been a patch update. And I just had totally missed it. I guess because I was running around and doing errands the day that this came out on the 29th. And somehow I just didn't notice that they posted patch note updates. I'd normally notice that like the same day, but I guess I didn't open my game. So fair is fair. But like I said, I was watching the Aussie thing before work, and I had to go to work. And then, of course, by the time I got back from work where I'm staying, there's been construction done, and I couldn't record with the construction on the house being done because it was too loud. Then I fell asleep while they were doing construction and just woke up. So this is the first chance I've gotten to talk about the patch since I discovered there was one. So that's slightly my bad, but also I'm getting up super early to record this to make up for it. So I hope we're still okay. So before we touch too much on what they didn't fix, let's talk about what they did fix by going over the patch notes I have pulled up here. They aren't too long of patch notes, but there is some pretty big stuff in here, especially when it comes to Enchanted by Nature. And of course, as per usual, they posted these on the EA website under the Sims 4 news article category, but their second Twitter page, The Sims Direct Communications, posted a direct link to these notes if you're looking for a direct link. So if you are looking for the article on the EA website, it is called Restoring Balance and Smoothing Elements, which honestly are the biggest two fixes in this patch. So it is for PC, Mac, and console. So it says, Social Simmers, we are here with an update to address a few of the top concerns you have been sharing with us, including bug fixes, gallery access for consoles, and improvement with ailment systems and Enchanted by Nature. Thanks for sharing your thoughts and feedbacks, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so when it comes to Enchanted by Nature elements, today's tuning update reduces the frequency of elements up to 75%. To provide more context, there are two primary sources for what cause ailments, contagiousness and imbalance. And we've made improvements to both based on your feedback. With concussions, we've significantly reduced how contagious the ailments are, resulting in Sims contracting ailments every 3 days on average instead of the previous 1 day. If your Sim is living in a big household and or seeing clients as a neuropath, ailments will happen about 40 to 50% less than before. So mixed feelings on that. One, I still feel like every 3 days on average is still a lot to get ailments. I haven't personally played with ailments yet. I do plan on making a whole video at some point on the neuropath and the ailments and that whole career and whatnot. But I currently have them turned off right now just because of how much I've seen them popping up in other people's games. And I'm thinking, that looks annoying. So I am glad they tweaked it. But I still think like every 3 days is a lot. Like maybe once a week I could understand. Or if you're around them more, maybe every 3 days. But if you're just playing an average save, like with nothing to do with Enchanted by Nature, I feel like maybe you shouldn't get it more than once a week. But hey, I will take some tweaking over no tweaking. And then it says, with the balance system, when Sims become very imbalanced, ailments will appear. We have adjusted the extremes of the balance, which affect how frequent the ailments could appear. Previously, witnessing a death and having extreme emotions such as mortified and hysterical instantly took away all balance, causing Sims to instantly feel very imbalanced. Now, extreme emotions still drain balance faster than regular emotions, but leaves time for Sims to react and get proper care, which I think is totally fair. Like, I feel like you would become imbalanced with all those things, but maybe not as imbalanced as they were originally having it. So I am glad they tweet that. And it says, we are exploring what additional elements could look like and look forward to hearing your feedback after this update. Well, you guys heard my feedback. That's my opinion. I feel like the elements should come like maybe once a week if you're not playing around elements, but that's just my opinion. And then this also is a little bit of drama. So it says, Enchanted by Nature Fairy Wings. So if you did not know, ever since Enchanted by Nature came out, the fairy wings on the Sims in live mode, especially Sims you're not playing with that are supposed to have fairy wings, the wings just keep disappearing. Like, you'll be talking to the Sim and they'll have wings for 1 minute and then all of a sudden they won't have wings and then they just won't put their wings back on unless you reset them or go into create a Sim and come back out. But this is what they said. He says, we want to share more information about fairy wings and when they're supposed to appear. There's over 360 positions and unique interactions surrounding fairy wings that our team reviewed and tailored animations for. By design, there are certain activities where fairy wings will intentionally be tucked away, such as laying down, sitting, or riding a horse. This is to avoid clipping or animation disruptions to complex objects, which could introduce additional technical difficulties to players. If you're still experiencing fairy wings not showing up after completing several interactions where they should be visible, we would love information on the forums to aid investigation. So they didn't fix the fairy wings. They are saying that some of what you are seeing is by design. So obviously when they're laying down, sitting down, stuff like that. But that's not the only times they're not showing up. Like, you'll literally just be talking to a Sim out in the street and all of a sudden their wings will just disappear and not come back. So I'm a little disappointed that they didn't fix that. I do understand that it's happening on purpose more than what people are complaining about, but I feel like they should have still tweaked it some, just to satisfy the people. I do understand that they went through and did 360 different interactions and whatever, but I don't know. I feel like they could have tweaked it on the Sims that you aren't playing on a little bit, like the Sims you're just seeing out in the world. That's the main issue I have. But, you know, we do have the forums to inform them. So there's a link to the forums if you want to talk to the Sims team about that. And then this right here is specifically for console. So it says, we're getting investigating reports that some Simmers on consoles have been unable to access the gallery and claim reward events, and being told that online connection is required or seeing only library on the main menu. This is due to a user agreement pop-up not appearing where it should. We're working on resolving this. In the meantime, you can restore full access to the gallery by going to Game Options, Other, and select Link EA Account button, and Update User Agreements will display. Accepting the update agreements will prompt you to restart your game, and selecting Confirm will restart the game and restore your connection to the gallery. As always, make sure you have saved any progress before restarting. And then they also posted on this second Twitter page that they have, Console Simmers, if you're still struggling to access the gallery or claim reward events, here's a list of steps to help. So they tell you the exact way to access that and how you can confirm it, so you will have access gallery. So all those exact steps are right here if you want to pause and read them. I'm not really a person that plays on console, but I do have friends that play on console, so I understand that it can be a struggle. So here's the instructions if you're curious about that. But let's go ahead and actually jump into the bug fixes now. Now, as you can see, there's not much. There's literally one page worth. I can look at them on one page. But it says there's bug fixes for Enchanted by Nature mainly. There's one for werewolves, one for base game, and one for multiple packs that looks like it has to do with Get to Work. So let's go ahead and see what they did fix. Now, we do have to keep in mind this wasn't a huge, big planned patch where they give us new content, blah, 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 blah. It's literally for bug fixes and mainly for Enchanted by Nature. So it says, for Enchanted by Nature, elements are now less contagious between household Sims and much less contagious from public toilets. This resulting in elements triggering up to 75% less often depending on your household size and other factors. So we kind of already went over this, but they're just adding on the fact that you will less likely be able to get it from public toilets now, which will also help the elements popping up. And then it says, a balance is more balanced. Witnessing death and having extreme emotions such as mortified and hysterical no longer causes them to become very imbalanced. We kind of already talked about that one as well. And then it says, for players with seasons, the naturopath career now respects holidays, so Sims have the day off, which is very good. And it says, sponge bath and bathroom as the Maso Fairy Hub and bathe in water and ponds with the natural living skill now clean Sims who have been singed by fire. So apparently if your Sims got burned before, you had to take a natural shower. You couldn't just use the new skill. So that's interesting. And then it says for werewolves, werewolf noses now have color once again in Create Sim. So there's been a lot of Create Sim glitches, but I'm glad they at least fixed one of them. For base game, it says during a limited time event such as Nature's Calling, Sims will now remain at work or school when other household members are travel or join a career. So I didn't even realize that was not working, I guess because most of the time when I'm playing with the events, I'm not playing with people in school or work. So I guess that's a good thing. And then it says multiple packs, Get to Work, aliens, and Sims wear an outfit from DLC packs no longer look pitch black and have invisible bodies when played in game that does not have those packs. Yeah, that would be a really annoying bug. So I am glad they got that fixed. And I am glad they got all these fixed. But there's just so many other bugs that need to be fixed. Don't get me wrong. I am glad they're fixing what they did fix. I do wish they had went ahead and just tweaked the wings a little bit. But I do understand that they have reason not to. They want to not have to tweak it because, one, that would be more work for them, but two, there are issues other than what they're saying. But that's just my opinion. But there's just so many bug fixes I feel like haven't been fixed that have been going on for years. I mean, one, the gallery has been so glitchy for the last... I mean, it's always been glitchy, but they did like a major overhaul to it a few years ago, and now it's like nothing like shows that it's uploaded. Like, you'll upload something and at first it'll say it's uploaded, but then the next time you go into the gallery on like the next reload of your game, it'll look like you posted absolutely nothing on the gallery. And I don't know if that actually affects it being seen on the gallery by other people, but it is really annoying because I can never tell what I uploaded and what I haven't uploaded. And then, of course, we have the for rent bug that's been going on for the last couple of years with for rent with a save corruption file. That's a huge one they still haven't fixed. They say they're working on it, but they still haven't fixed that, and for rent's been out a couple of years. I mean, build mode has just been a whole nother category as well. I mean, there's so many tagging issues in build mode. They have fixed some of those recently, but not all of them. But what about the terrain paint? Like, the terrain paint bug has been there for 6 years now, where it disappears on reload. They still haven't fixed that. Infants are so glitchy, so I wish they would do an update to infants. I mean, there's just so much stuff that's been glitchy. I mean, even down to plant sims. They did do a major haul in plant sims, but I was noticing when I made a plant sim to play with, I gave them the hair that was the plant sim hair and then turned them into plant sim. And then every time I would play with the plant sim, their hair would change. I guess because I set it to what it was actually supposed to be before I turned them into a plant sim, the hair glitch. I figured they would have fixed that with the plant sim update with Enchanted by Nature, but there's also a couple other things with plant sims they haven't fixed. And then just Create Sim has been so broken. So broken. Especially with Create Sim accessories and makeup. Here, I actually have some sims to show off, so let me just go ahead and go into Create Sim and kind of show you all the Create Sim glitchiness I've been talking about, because there's been glitchiness, but now since there's been fairies, there's been even more glitchiness. So I'm just going to jump in my game and show all of this off real quick, because there's also a family that I want to show off just to show off for you guys. So let's jump into my game real quick. So I have this little family that I made here that I do want to show off because they are actually going to be an inspiration for another video I have coming out soon. But I want to use them to kind of show off a lot of the glitchiness that's been happening in the game. Before we even had fairies, we've been having glitchiness with the categories. So basically, you see here that this is technically supposed to be all the makeup, but it only shows the eyeshadow. This is supposed to show every single eye makeup category. Now, of course, we can go here and go to eyeshadow and it shows all the same things, but it's also supposed to show the eyeliner, the eyelashes, the cheeks, the lips, the face makeup. When you click on the makeup category, it's not supposed to just stop at eyeshadow. And they've been having the same problem with accessories. If you come here, only the piercings show up until you press here, which is not too annoying until you're going to look for content in a new pack, because like, say I turn on the Enchanted by Nature filter, it only shows the piercings when you go to accessories, but there's also glasses. If you were to come here and filter by Enchanted by Nature here, there's glasses and there's stuff like that, but it just doesn't show unless you go to a specific category. And it's the same for the body accessories as well. I don't know why this is, but it's super annoying that that's been happening. Like, I really don't like that. Also, since fairies have come, there's been more than enough glitches with fairies. One being the ears. The ears are showing up for this sim right now, but half the time when I, like, create a fairy, like, I'll go to, like, make a new fairy with, like, the genetics or whatever, I'll spawn them in, and they'll have pointy ears. It'll say they have pointy ears, but no matter what happens, it didn't happen this time, but it'll always default back to these ears, even if he's wearing these ears. It'll just look like he's wearing those ears. I don't know why it's doing that, but ears have been glitchy as long as we've already talked about wings, but of course the wings have been glitchy, the accessories have been glitchy, and then also transferring stuff over on outfits has been super glitchy since the Enchanted by Nature pack has come on. Especially, okay, so we're supposed to be able to link these two, right? They're automatically linked, the fairy form and the sim form, but for some reason, if, like, you put makeup on in their Sims form, or in their, like, fairy form, and then put apply to all outfits, it'll be on your first outfit that you applied the makeup on when you switch back to your regular sim mode, but then it won't be applied to the rest of your outfits. So even though it's linked and supposed to be the same, it's not transferring over the same. You have to transfer over everything if you're wanting to press it for, like, let me just show you. So actually I'm going to show you on her. So, like, if we were to go here and go to her makeup, let's do it in fairy mode. If I go here in fairy mode, let's go here and change her lipstick. I'm probably going to change it back, honestly. No offense. But maybe I'll just change it to the vampire one next to it. So let's say I gave her this and then applied it to all my outfits. It applies here, right? Like, that's fine. But you can come here, watch this work, and it totally not be broken when I go to fix it. But if I come here, yeah, see, it didn't transfer it over in here. She still has the old lipstick for all her other categories, which I think is totally bogus. See, and here, I just went to go change it to every category, and because I'm not specifically on lipstick, it didn't transfer it over. Okay, even though I was in all makeup. So transfer it over there. But now here, go back here, it didn't even transfer over to her first outfit here. As you can see, let's see, it didn't even transfer over in her normal outfit. See, it's being so weird going back and forth between fairy and non-fairy form. I don't know. It's so weird to me. I'm going to give her old lipstick back on this category because I really like her lipstick like that. But then another thing, talking about going back and forth between the fairy and non-fairy form, the eyes. So this sim in particular, this is the one I really noticed it on. I don't know if it's to do with the eye, the age range, the fact that they're fairies, or a combination of whatnot, but I've noticed on the adult fairies, and some of it's more noticeable than others, but the eyes are being weird, and to the point it's showing up on the gallery. So I made this sim in his fairy form, and I never unlinked the fairy form and whatnot, and they had the same eyes, which were not these eyes. But when I changed them on this form, they looked like this, right? Like this is his eyes, that how I wanted them to look when I made him. But then when I switched over, his eyes look like this. And no matter what eyes I choose, they look different on each category. It does this somewhat with her. And honestly, I think it kind of fixed itself on her because it's less extreme than it was. But you can kind of see that these eyes are slightly smaller than these eyes, which is the same problem I'm having on him. It's just more visible on him. And even to the point you go to the library and you have them where I uploaded them. And yes, I did upload them, but as you can see, it says that they're not uploaded, which is weird. But if you go to his fairy form, you can see the difference in his eyes. And I know like you have the ability to unlock this link and make them look completely different, including eye shape. But if they're linked, shouldn't they naturally have the same eyes? Like, shouldn't it? And this is not a problem with my teenage fairy sim. Like, her form is fine. Like, going back and forth between her normal form and her fairy form is literally just the young adult and older's eyes. And I don't know if it's just fairies or if it's all sims, but I've been having it happen with my fairy sims, particularly my young adult and older fairy sims. So I don't know. It's been super glitchy in Create Sim, especially since fairies have come out, which I find a little sad, but you know, it's The Sims 4. Every time we get something new, we get more glitches. It's just kind of how it works at this point. Alright, but let me stop complaining and switch more to a positive note for this video, because I try not to complain too much in my videos, because I want this to be a kind of happy environment you can come to kind of forget about the stress of life and just kind of have fun and relax and get your mind off things in a positive space. But I just felt like all of those were things that need to be talked about. Like, some of those have been glitches that have been around forever. Some of them are more recent, but they're all pretty big ones that I feel like should just be fixed by now. But that is just my little ramble there. Let's jump into a more positive note. And I actually want to show off this family that I created. So this has nothing to do with the bug fixes or whatnot. It's just that I'm using this family as an inspiration for my next build. And I will slightly go over this family when I do that build. But I want to do the full introduction for this family in another video, so that build video isn't 10 times longer. So I'm going to properly introduce them here, show off all their outfits and whatnot. And if you're a My Little Pony fan, you may enjoy this, so you may stick around. But after I show off the family, we do have a couple of more Sims related news things to talk about. But if you are coming over from the build video, which I haven't recorded yet, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't recorded it yet, but if you are coming over from that video, yes, this is where I'm showing off this family in full detail. So, like I said, if you're a My Little Pony fan, you might have already picked up on the fact that this is very loosely based on some My Little Pony characters. So this first one was the full inspiration behind this family. Honestly, I was not planning on making My Little Pony themed Sims, even them being super loosely based on them. But I made this Sim and was like, oh, that looks like Spike. So I made the rest of them kind of look like other MLP characters. So this is Spike Iverson. He wants a big happy family. He is creative, romantically observed, and generous. And this is him up close in his non-fairy form. He does have shiny skin in all his outfits. And this is him in his fairy form. Like I said, the face is being weird, but these are the wings that I chose for him. I thought they were very dragon with spike colors. This is kind of the outfit. He has the same outfits in his regular form and fairy form, so I'm just going to show it off in his fairy form. But we have his everyday, we have his formal, which is a little fancy. We have his athletic. We have his sleepwear, which I thought was super cute. We have his party wear, a bit more fairy-esque. We have his swimwear with those new fairy swimwear that we got with the event, which is technically still going on, but only for like another week. If you guys haven't done it, you might as well do it now. We have the hot weather wear, which is the same as his everyday, and his cold weather wear, just because I really wanted to use this new sweater. I thought it was super cute. So that is Spike. And of course, if I created Spike and I wanted to create a partner, I had to do a rare, like I said, very loosely themed fairy sim based off rarity. So this is Rarity Faye Iverson, and she wants to be fabulously wealthy, but she's generous, a cat lover, and family oriented. So this is her up close. I think she's really cute. She has some of the new purple fairy eyes. This is one of the only dark purple hairs we have. I know it looks nothing like Rarity's hair, but I don't use custom content, so, you know. But I also gave her that blue teardrop necklace to kind of slightly represent her cutie mark. And then, of course, the purple and the white theme going on. But it is a fairy naturey pack, so I did add some naturey aspects to her. Like I said, I don't think Rarity would wear almost any of this, but the sim is slightly based off her, just slightly. But this is her in her fairy form. I totally did base the wings based off the one she got in the show one time. These are the closest to those wings that I could get. But this is her in her everyday. We have her in her formal wear, which is super pretty. We have her in her athletic wear. Pretty basic, but I kind of like it. We have her in her sleepwear. I could totally see Rarity wearing this, though. Like, totally. We have her in her party wear. Just because this dress has always given me fairy vibes, I figured it was appropriate. We have her in her swimwear. We have her in her hot weather, which is the same as her everyday, and her cold weather, because once again, I wanted to use that sweater. So she also has that sweater. But then they have some little siblings. I'm not really calling them their kids, because I feel like them being based off the Cutie Mark Crusaders, they would be more little siblings than they would be their kids. But I did create the Cutie Mark Crusaders, but they're all in different age groups. So what inspired me here was the bow, of course. I saw the bow and was like, well, if I'm doing MLP characters, loosely based MLP characters, this bow totally gives Apple Bloom vibes. So this is Apple Blooming Iverson. And she is a fairy. They are all fairies, but of course, from child and younger, you don't have a fairy form. But this is her regular form. She is wanting to have the fairy story aspiration. She is mystical and a plant lover. And this is her fairy form. I'm obsessed with her wings. I think they're so cute. But this is her everyday. And then we have her formal, which I love the little polka dot and bow theme going on here. This is so cute. Like, this is totally Apple Bloom vibes. We have her athletic wear, pretty simple, but I like it. Her sleepwear, totally Rarity vibes, but is cute. We have her party wear, again, really simple, but I think it's cute. We have her swimwear, which is just like the lifeguard outfit from the Island Living pack. We have her hot weather, that's the same as her everyday, and her cold weather. And of course, if I made Apple Bloom, I had to make the rest of them. So this is the Sweetie Belle themed Sims is this sweetie, and she wants to be a creative genius, and she's a music lover. So this is her up close, and then this is her everyday. Since she couldn't have a fairy form, I tried to show wings in other ways. So she has a little butterfly shirt on here. And her formal, she's totally going with the pastel pink and bow vibe. Her athletic wear, we have one of the new wing shirts from the Enchanted by Nature pack for kids. We have her sleepwear. I thought she would totally have fancy sleepwear vibes, being Rarity's little sister. We have her party wear, once again, some butterflies. We have her swimwear, which I just thought the snorkels were cute, so I went with that. We went for her hot weather, which is the same as her everyday, and her cold weather. So it has some butterfly fairy references in there, just not too many. And then, of course, we had to do a Scootaloo themed one. So this is Scoots, and she's a toddler, mainly because I just wanted to use the new toddler hair and hat. But this outfit is also really cute and totally is Scootaloo colors. So obsessed. So this is Scoots, and this is her everyday, her formal. She has that butterfly winged outfit on for toddlers. We have her sleepwear, which is just some cute bunny pajamas that match her little fairy hat. We have one of the other new fairy outfits in game for her party wear. Her swimwear is just kind of that same peachy color. We have the same aim for her hot weather as her everyday. And then her cold weather, just kind of all the right colors. So that's the family that I showed off for the next build video that I put out. So if you've come over from that build video, this is the family I'm building that house for. If you haven't seen that video or I haven't put it out yet, this is a family that I will be building for soon. So however you want to see that. But before we end this video, I do have a couple of more news related things to do with The Sims, so let's quickly talk about those before I wrap up this video. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is honestly something that I am probably hyping up way too much in my head and probably way more excited for than most other Simmers in the Simmer community. But the Sims team came out with an official The Sims board game, and my inner child is screaming in joy. So basically, I was very sheltered from technology, movies, TV shows, stuff like that when my grandma was raising me. And basically, I didn't have much access to video games. I mean, I had like little kid games, you know, like coloring games that you would put the disc into your family computer and play on offline and whatnot. But I didn't have like my first official video game was like this Pirates of the Caribbean game that was like its own little game that you just plugged in with the 3 cords, and it was just like the game came on the little joystick. But my first official video game was The Sims 3. I did play a little bit of The Sims 2 after I played Sims 3, but Sims 3 was my first video game. And before I had access to The Sims 3, board games and card games were my jam. I loved stuffed animals and dolls as well. I was obsessed with Polly Pockets for a little bit, but board games were where it was at. And I didn't have, this is going to seem bad, I didn't have a lot of people my age to play with. My sisters were all like over a decade older than me and didn't really play with me that much as a child. So basically a lot of my childhood was me either playing board games by myself or playing board games with anyone who would take time out of their day to play with me. So I always got really excited to play board games. I had like a million of them growing up. Like I have like a whole board game collection still of what's left over, and there were so many more that I've lost over the years. But I was obsessed with board games growing up. So the fact that my first ever video game that I'm still obsessed with and is my special interest to this game day made a board game super excites me. Like, I'm so excited to play this. So this is kind of like the cover of it. As you can see, it is kind of Sims 4 themed. I feel like there's probably Sims references from older games, but since The Sims 4 has been the newest game for the last decade, I think they tried to go off that because that was the big brand. But as you can see, it doesn't say The Sims 4 board game. It just says The Sims. But as you can see, there's Nancy Landgrab, Bella Goth, Agnes Crumplebottom, Bob Pancakes, Robin Banks, all that are Sims 4 characters. I mean, these are also in older games, but these are the Sims 4 versions. We also have a cow plant and a little freezer bunny here. I don't know. I think this is super cute. There is also some more pictures I have pulled up over here and a video, but let's look at the pictures first. So this is the official cover. This is the actual board game. So from what I can tell, the concept of this board game is kind of like Monopoly and Life mixed together, but Sim themed with like Sim characters and Sim aspirations and a Sims Willow Creek map. The map is very much giving me Life vibes. Like, this is very much giving me like the board of Life, but again, kind of Monopoly style, but not really. I don't know. It's kind of a weird concept to explain. We'll kind of go over it when we look at the video, but as you can see, there's like aspiration cards and where you live, and there's a little needs slider so you can slide your needs up and down. And as far as I can tell, there's like actual characters from the Sims 4 games as character cards as well. Here's another look at the board, just all there. It looks like you can play up to 6 players, which is super exciting. I think it said it was up to like 2 to 6 players or something. There was a description. I don't see where the description. Oh, there it is. Description. Okay. I was about to say, I knew I saw a description, but it says, bring the beloved, delightful, unpredictable world of The Sims to life and experience a new take on game night. Join friends and family and memorable Sims for years past. As you chart your journey, you'll create chaos and try to outrun grim or aim for a career success. What will be your next when you have to start all over again? Possibilities are endless as you explore familiar venues, connect with iconic Sims, and achieve your aspiration to claim victory. For 2 to 5 players, 12 and up, obviously, because the Sims game is a T for T games. And then here's the back of it. So it says, ready the welcome wagon. Oh, I love that. For Decode The Sims has brought imaginative storytelling to life. Now craft a real-life adventure together with friends and families as you encounter unexpected surprises at every turn. Live to fulfill your aspiration by landing the perfect job or leave it all behind. Ignite rivalries, meet unforgettable Sims, and discover what your choices where your choices take you. Every game is a whole new story. What would yours be? So here you can see you have your travel piece as a plumb bob. Collect Sim boys. Invite iconic Sims to your home. So I guess you don't play. Do you play as the Sim or do you invite Sims? I'm very confused about if you play as a character or you make your own character and then complete your aspirations. So apparently you have to complete aspirations. Here's another look at the box. And then we have this video, which I am going to mute as soon as I can get it to play. Oh my god, stop. Pause for a moment, just mute. Okay. But this video kind of shows off everything. So it looks like here, these are like need cards. They all have like a different needs on them. Here you have like all the symbols you're showing off here and all the different stacks. So there's different types of cards you can pull. Here is aspirations. So we have a friend of the animal. We have academic. We have serial romantic and public enemy. And you roll a dice. The dice is really cute. Hold on, I want to look at a closer at that slider card. So the slider card interests me. Yeah, so it's the need tracker. And you can literally like go up and down. That is so cute. And then she pulled a cow plant card. She pulled Bella Goth. He pulled Robin Banks. So it looks like you can become a robber and like steal money from other players, which is super cute. I don't know. I am obsessed with this. Like, here are all the little pieces. Here's the mood card. Here's the board, the different types of cards. So I'm assuming, depending on which character or aspiration you get, depends on which big card you have, kind of telling your storyline. But I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out, just being the big board game and Sims nerd that I am. So the next thing I want to talk about is not something I'm super excited about, but it is something that is currently going on in the Sims community and some of you guys might be excited about. So I figured I would bring it up, and that is to do with the new Song of Perfect Stranger. So they have gotten with FKA Twigs and actually made a Slimlish version of the song Perfect Stranger. And honestly, like, I do like when the Sims combined with artists and make Slimlish songs. I did prefer a lot of the songs they did in The Sims 3 versus the ones that they've gotten with The Sims 4, but this one is, I don't mind it. Like, I think it's actually better than a lot of the other songs they've collaborated with for The Sims 4, but I am still a big fan of, like, all the songs they collaborated with in The Sims 3 more, but they have put this song into the game, and you can actually download the sim that is for FKA Twigs off the gallery and download her as, I believe, a fairy. It looks like as a fairy. I don't know. It's exciting news in a ways, but also it depends on like what kind of music you're into, what kind of artists you're into. I was more personally into the artists that they did in The Sims 8, like MCR and Katy Perry and stuff like that, but maybe that's just showing my, but they do have this song in Simlish in the game now, as well as I think they have it on their YouTube channel or somewhere in there, as well as the sim to download off the gallery. But guys, that is where I'm going to end this video. I kind of have it wrapped up here. I hope you enjoyed. It was mainly news videos, but like I said, I did show off my Sims family, and that build will be coming out if you haven't already watched it. But I think I'm going to end this video here. I hope you found this video informative because that was the point. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that awesome stuff because you guys are awesome people. I'll see you next time. All right,